Constitutional lawyer Bruce Fein, who joins me in the studio. So, Bruce, what is the next step? What are the options for government lawyers?
The government could first seek what's called review by the en banc panel of the Ninth Circuit. The three judges that decided it are not the Ninth Circuit in total. They have about 28 or 29 judges. Now, it's so large, en banc review ordinarily involves just 12 or 13. That's having a larger group sitting on the Ninth Circuit review what the three judges did. Now, that would be highly unusual here because there was no dissent out of the three. They're unanimous. They wrote what's called a per curiam opinion. So that seems unlikely. So the government could seek review in the United States Supreme Court. And I've been in Washington like 50 years, and if the government asks for review of the court where the president himself is involved, the court will grant review. Whether they award him a victory or not is another question. They'll not deny the president an opportunity for his so-called day in court. I think it's highly risky, however. Number one, the president has assailed the judicial branch. Not only in this case, but in another case concerning Trump University. He's used ad hominem attacks, called them dumber than dumb high school students. Here's he's saying it's a political decision, not a legal decision. And that is going to antagonize the court and the judges against the president. Moreover, he's been so bellicose, I think he's created an image in the judges' mind that if they back down and rule in his favor, it'll look like they're spineless. It looks like they capitulated to his threats. The judges don't want that appearance. They're appointed for life, and they have an ethos of independence.
Bruce, let me ask you about whether Trump can issue a new executive order, essentially rewrite this order to make it more narrow in scope. Is that an option?
It certainly is an option, which is stunning to me that he didn't do it at the outset. For example, the Court of Appeals almost gave him a roadmap to do that. The initial order that's still in plact says that it applies to permanent resident aliens, those who aren't citizens, but they are here for life, and they clearly have constitutional rights to travel. And yet the administration did nothing to change the order. The White House counsel said, we're not going to apply it to permanent resident aliens. And the Ninth Circuit said, well, where's your authority to do that? From a tweet? You know, you have to rewrite the order. And secondly, they could rewrite the order to narrow it to make certain that it excludes those who are non-immigrants, who are in the United States and want to travel. I don't know to go into further detail. The last thing that they need to do is they need to have some expert state, I've reviewed these 7 countries and I've concluded based on my experience of how they're operating and what the conditions of the land are, that they create a greater threat of sending a terrorist to the United States than others. We have nothing other than Kellyanne Conway saying they're terrorists in Bowling Green that don't happen.
Let me ask you one more question. We're running out of time. Trump's position has always been, this is about national security. This is about keeping the United States safe. This, he has said, is not a Muslim ban. Did the appeals court specifically address that part, whether this is a Muslim ban or not?
It did, and it said, we are not going to resolve that issue right now because we don't have to. It sent it back for review, but did indicate it was concerned that there were public statements that were made, including Rudy Giuliani, who's a close political associate of the president, that he was asked to devise a way to ban Muslims. And if that were the case, it would look like this could violate our separation of church and state prohibition in the Constitution. Now, the court didn't decide the question one way or another, but it could be very embarrassing to the administration if indeed the case goes back and they want to have a trial. They'll call these witnesses. Did the president tell you he just wanted a ban on Muslims and this is the best way to achieve it? Because that would be a critical element in proving a violation of the Constitution.
Wow, so many nuances. Thank you so much, Bruce Fein, a constitutional law expert joining us here in the studio.